Sales-only focused organizations in oversubscribed markets that are growing like crazy have it made in the shade until they don't. Good morning, everybody. Today, Ruby and myself are freezing, but we are here talking about risk and risk management for companies that are doing amazing, but doing amazing because their markets are growing like crazy. The salespeople are able to have people lined out the door because they were going to line out the door whether or not we were doing anything differently or not, and how risky that is as a business. I'm going to tie a few things together today. So the conversation I've had on some of these videos is around being oversubscribed as a component of what you're doing, which is to say the demand for what you do is way higher than what you can market serve, meaning people are going to line up. They love you. And that's not because you're amazing necessarily, although you might be amazing. It's because the market dictates that there's a demand for whatever it is you do, and as you're oversubscribed, you are going to win. That's amazing. It's amazing until that changes. And so structurally, we like to see companies take a much more focused and balanced approach to what's going on in their markets. And if your salespeople don't need to ring the phone rings for them, that is awesome. And so it is awesome until it belies a problem of that when the market changes and shifts, you are going to have a different problem, which is now we have to go out and get business. For the rest of us, where everything is about going out and getting business, is a completely different mindset and model. So I've been talking to a lot of sales-led organizations of late, and those sales-led organizations are struggling. Maybe just a little struggle, maybe a big struggle. Struggling with understanding effectiveness and efficiency of their sales teams, understanding why the phone's not ringing, understanding why it's so hard for anybody to answer the phone. All of the things. This is a typical traditional business conversation that Ruby and I would have in the run of a week. However, what we want a lot of companies thinking about is the macro changes that are happening around the business. So is our market shifting? Is it changing? Buyers changing, growth rates changing in terms of the compound annual growth rates of the industries that we want to be in or that we're in. Do customers have a clear sense of how we do things and what we do? That's kind of important. And then the remainder is what do we need to do to satisfy those buying needs for those folks that are going to be in the markets that we are in or want to be in. And this is where it gets really challenging for a lot of sales-led organizations that have traditionally just brute forced their markets. Blitzes, territory management, all this stuff. So it's not the easiest thing in the world to change, right? You've done things a certain way for a certain period of time with a certain data set, whether that's gut data or real data, and now you're trying to figure out what to do next. And so the lens that I continue to put on this is reverse engineering buyers. How do they make these decisions? What do they do relative to what you're doing? And so for today, I want you to think a little bit differently about this in the sense of if you are a sales-led organization that does not rely on marketing and things are going well, kudos. That has a shelf life. You are going to have to change how you're doing things, and that is not your fault. That is because the market is changing. Marketing will be the door opener for so many businesses that don't do marketing right now that they have to start thinking about that now. If you're not thinking about that now, if you think brute forcing your market will work, and if your inbound is on fire, you should count your lucky stars. Because when that shifts, and it will, and you have to go the other way, boy, oh boy, now we're talking about some struggle. So I want you just thinking differently about that. So how does that impact what you're doing? How does it impact what you're planning? How do we take this to market? What are these macro changes that we're seeing? Do we know what our compounded annual growth rate of our industries are? Make all that work. This is the data that will change how you approach your business. And so today, don't rest on your laurels. What's successful this year will not necessarily be successful next year. Keep tabs on that. This is the stuff that you can think about. So Ruby says, know what's going on around you Don't think what happens today is going to happen tomorrow, and make it easier for your sales teams, your marketing, to get in front of the right people at the right time. Enough for today. Walking and Talking with Ruby.